Bunnie Xo.
She was a Vegas girl.
Bunnie Xo.
Dumb Blonde Podcast. And Bunnie Xo. Jelly Rolls like Bunnie Xo. Miss
Bunnie Xo.
Talk to me about Bunnie Xo.
Bunnie.
Get two of the coolest tits in Vegas.
Is this thing on? What's up, you sexy motherfuckers? Welcome to another episode of Dumb Blonde. Today, I have the one, the only, KT Smith in the house, baby.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm happy to be here.
You are stunning. When you walked in, I was like, oh my God, she's so pretty.
Thank you.
No,
I have some zits right now, but you know, I try to
Nobody
cover
can
them
see
up.
those. Stop it. You're beautiful, though. Like, I feel like your beauty isn't captured online as much as it is in person.
Wow. Thank you.
Is this our first time meeting, or have we met somewhere else? Because I can't remember.
I think we've been at the same places, but we've never met.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I've met you before, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because we feel like we know each other.
Yeah, we've
Just
talked
from-
plenty of times.
Yeah, for sure. So how are you doing?
Good.
This is
You know, living the dream.
this has been a long time coming. I feel like we've been talking about bringing you on the podcast forever, and then we just finally were able to make it work this season.
Yes. We've had a few reschedules.
Yes, we have. We almost had to reschedule again today.
Literally, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't meant to be.
No, I
here
was
we
like,
are.
I felt so bad. I was like, tell her it's gonna smell like gas, but tell her just come on. The
Yeah.
propane company, just for everybody, tried to tell me I didn't pay my bill, which is a fucking lie. And they can turn the propane off, and they said that our house smells like propane because as the tank drains.
It was $21. I just checked.
What?
Big spenders.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Can you believe that?
I'm gonna fight people whenever I get done with this podcast. I'm so mad. You have no idea, Katie, what I've been dealing with today.
Meanwhile, it's Antarctica in here.
It's so cold. I know. I feel so bad. I'm like, do you want my jacket? It's a Raiders jacket. She's like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. No, it's okay.
So I want to get to know you. I did a little digging on you last night, and you're kind of like a, enigma. Like you're this beautiful woman that's online that has a presence and all this stuff. Of course, we know who your baby daddy is, but you have so much more to you, and I want everybody to know that about you. So I want to just kind of start from the beginning. Like, where did you grow up? Tell me a little bit about your childhood and all that stuff.
Woo, we're going through some childhood trauma therapy right now.
Oh my God. What
that's
kind?
Fun. EMDR.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you told me that the other day. Yeah.
I was like, let me get some sessions in before I open my mouth.
no, isn't it crazy that as adults we're correcting things that we didn't ask to be done to us?
That, but also it's just like, it's crazy how they, even like me my whole life, I'm like, you have to work through this stuff. Otherwise it'll come up later.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, okay. So that's why I'm the way I am.
No. Yep.
But it's not bad. I mean, it is what it is. But I grew up in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And lived there for about 9 years. And then I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee. My mom had been married prior to me being born. And so I have a half brother, which I don't think of it as like a half, but so we moved to Knoxville to be closer to him because that's where he lived. And then lived there for, I guess, when did I move? I was 21. I had just turned 21 or 22. And then met someone and moved to Nashville. So I've been here for about 8 years now.
I had read somewhere that you changed your name, like the spelling of your name, when you were younger. Why is that?
I did. So I started going by KT after I got saved. So I did it like Katie, I always say it's like a before Christ and then after Christ.
How old were you when you got saved?
8th grade.
Okay. So it was kind of like you were like shedding the old you.
Yeah. When I didn't change it then, I only changed it legally like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But also it was literally Katie, Katie Smith. And anytime I went anywhere, there was like 700,000 of them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of annoying. So now it's a little bit easier.
She's like, I want to be different. I need to set myself apart.
Yeah.
I love that though. So growing up, what was your relationship like with your parents and your family?
My dad passed when I was 4. And so they weren't together though. They were already divorced. And I found out, she says that I found out like soon after, but I'm pretty sure I found out a few years later. But yeah, I was just raised by a single mom and we've always had a really good relationship.
Yeah.
She actually lives about 10 minutes from me, so we have a good relationship now. We've been through some rough patches, but other than that, it's been me and her and my aunt and my nana. So they still live, well, my aunt's been stationed in the Navy in different places. So where I grew up in Key West, she moved from there. So that was like my happy place, like my home. But I haven't been back since she moved, but she lives in Hawaii now, but definitely always been surrounded by women, which I love.
I love that. So that automatically makes you a girl's girl.
Yes,
Whenever you
for
grow up
sure.
around women like that. I've always had a core group of women just around me too. And I think there's nothing better than that feminine energy
Yeah.
and just like, you know, being able to soak it up.
And being able to be, I think that's where a lot of my independence comes from, is having to be the man in my life.
No.
But it also comes from like where I have issues, where I'm too independent and I can't have that codependency. I'm just very much like, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done type mindset.
Because you're in your masculine energy.
I am, and I really want to enter the soft
Yeah.
era, and that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah.
Because I can't do that.
It takes time, and it really, and I preach this to a lot of the girls that come on the podcast too, because I'm very in my masculine energy too. Like, I'm a boss. You have to, it's my way or the no way, or like, I'm not going to ask anybody for help. But when I finally got with my husband, it softened me in a way that I can't even explain, because I finally didn't have to take the lead anymore. Not saying that you need a man to be softened at all, because you don't. I did, because, you know, I just balls to the wall, but it'll hit you one day and you'll just be like, you know what? You'll soften naturally.
I don't have to do it all.
Yeah. And I think once you're done going through therapy, and like, which to me, therapy is just a forever journey anyways.
Yeah.
I think once you get to a certain point in therapy too, you'll have the coping skills and the knowledge of how you want to apply it. So
That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm proud
hoping
of
because it's definitely taught me things about myself, and I'm like, okay, that stuff we can veto. Like, I don't want to carry that from the other generations. Like, I want to break that cycle and be able to let someone take care of me, or like have decisions made together, and it not just be like, okay, I'm the man here.
yeah, I get it though. And you're also a Scorpio though too, because you guys are like super headstrong. You guys are like deep lovers, but at the same time, it's like you guys also have a
My
wall
way or
up.
the highway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. So tell me about your relationship with Jesus, because you talk about getting saved in 8th grade. And I do see that you carry that relationship now still into your everyday like online life also. So, you know, tell me about that relationship.
Yeah, it's always been really solid. So I didn't grow up necessarily in church. It was more of like a holiday-ish type. I always say like the Christmas family, but it was like Easter, Christmas, whatever. And then when I moved to Tennessee, I was around people more that talked about it, even like in 5th grade. Like a friend was like, oh, I got saved. And then I was like, oh, how do I do that? So I like, when she mentioned, she was like, oh, you just have to like say a prayer. I like did it in the car one day after school, but it didn't really mean anything. And then I would go to summer camps and stuff because my mom worked full time. So I would go to all the summer camps. But I went to like Baptist church where I'd literally fall asleep.
Yeah,
And
rough.
then in 8th grade, I met someone on my softball team, and she took me to like this overnight, super fun, like camping trip. And that's like where it really started. I was like, I like this a lot. So I started going to church with her.
If the slots are spinning, you could be winning. Head over to DraftKings Casino and play the classics you know and love. Or try something new with DraftKings exclusive games. Plus, new players that give DraftKings Casino a spin can get 200 casino spins on a featured game. Just sign up with code BUNNIE, BUNNIE, and wager a minimum of $5 buckaroonies to receive 200 casino spins on a featured game. Only on DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 and up. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Connecticut and Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for featured games only and expire in 168 hours. See terms of casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends March 16th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Let's talk about the recent events that have happened in your life with a relationship that you got into about, I think, like 9 months ago?
Okay, no.
Okay.
First of all, we dated for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May.
Okay.
So yes, we were only married. Well, we still are married, technically. So 9 months.
Yeah.
But so we started dating in May of 2023.
How'd you guys meet?
We were at the ACMs. So I went with Whitney and Caden.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to talk about that too, about you and Caden and the car accident. Should we talk about that first?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about that
Oh,
first.
today's 2 years. It happened 2 years ago today.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, I posted a busted up picture on my face on my Snap today.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, bring that up because I remember I was so worried
Probably
about
just
you
look
guys.
up wreck pictures and it'll definitely come up because I looked crazy.
Yeah, I think I text Caden whenever you guys were going through that to make sure you guys were okay. So did you and Caden ever date? Were you guys dating?
No, we weren't dating.
The smile is giving it away.
It wasn't dating.
All right.
It was something.
You guys were just hanging out.
Yeah, we were bopping around.
So what happened this night?
And Morgan Wallen's ex-fiance. At least it wasn't baby mama.
Right.
We were at a writer's round. And I liked Caden a lot at the time.
He's a sweet boy.
Yes, he is very sweet.
He gets a lot of shit online too.
and I
I'm
don't know
like,
why.
Yeah, like
is
he's
great.
such a sweet dude.
It's very great. But I kind of like cut off like the whole situation at that time of like wanting to be with him, but it not working out. But we were at the writer's round together and I'm really bad at just like saying no to things. But my friend was like, how about you take him home? And I was like, whatever, fine. So I was on my way taking him home and we got hit. So we got smashed. Ended up in the hospital. But it was super sweet. I mean, he like prayed over us in the hospital as we were leaving. And I mean, nothing happened between us after that, except, well, I lied. And then we went to Texas, not as like a thing. We went to the ACMs and Whitney invited me.
Yeah.
And so I went with Whitney and Caden.
Yeah.
And
I love that you and Whitney were hanging out too.
yeah, that definitely started a lot, but it was fun.
Well, because Whitney says that she's hooked up with Morgan too. So whenever you guys were together, I think that kind of like set the internet abuzz.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's what I said. I was like, who hasn't? Like, it's fine. Like, I don't care if someone slept with him before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we bonded over it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I
Whitney's a
wouldn't-
sweet girl. I think Whitney gets way too much hate. She doesn't fucking deserve it. Granted, she plays into it and she,
Yeah. And I mean, I would. She's beautiful.
Yeah, and she instigates it online, but in person, Whitney really is just a sweetheart. And
Yeah.
she's
And
so
I was drawn to
beautiful.
that. Like,
Yeah.
she had those, like, so much potential. And I mean, she couldn't see it within herself.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
'Cause she is very sweethearted and I know she cares a lot.
Yeah, she's got a good spirit. So back to this accident though. So what happened? Like somebody just cut you guys off and smashed into you? Because looks really
They ran a red
freaking
light.
serious.
A semi-ish. I guess it was like it was a Penske truck. And yeah,
Is this in
that was my
a
dream
lot?
car. I loved her. That's Regina George.
I love that. Is this in a lawsuit? Are you guys suing
It was
over this?
at the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
And
God,
I
I
still
can't
love
believe
her.
that was 2 years ago. Do you miss her?
I do miss her.
Aw. Well, I'm glad you guys are safe. What happened? What injuries did you get from this?
My face was insane.
Yeah. Can we pull up a picture of her face? It's on your Snapchat right now?
Yeah, but it's probably on there. If you type in face. Oh, I like that it came up when you. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It was like that for a while too. Right here, they never said that if it was broken or not, but they thought my cheekbone was broken. But I had like this weird dent for like the longest time in my face, like when I would smile. And sometimes it actually still hurts, but my face was like mainly the issue. Like I was bruised and everything all over. But then
Yeah.
Caden like really messed up his elbow and had stitches and stuff.
Yeah.
But it definitely could have been a lot worse.
Way worse, right? Especially getting hit by a Penske truck. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were like, you guys should have been dead.
Wow.
And, definitely should have. But then there's, of course, people that thought I was drinking and driving, but obviously I would have been arrested.
Yeah.
Caden was definitely hammered,
Yeah.
but he wasn't driving.
I do have to ask you about the pastor scandal. Can we have some insight and clarity on that whole situation?
Yeah. And if people didn't tune in for the baby mama drama, this is definitely what they're coming for. But if anything is ever said on social media, if I post anything or if anyone's like, you know what, like she's such a great person, there's going to be those people that comment back immediately within 5 seconds and be like, did you not hear that she slept with her pastor on a mission trip? And I shared it right after it happened because I don't even know how it got out. I guess one of like my friends had leaked it somewhere.
Those aren't friends.
Yeah, I don't even know who it was, but I know they're not in my life anymore. Or
Yeah.
if they are, and I don't know, like there's certain people that I share certain details with, which, you know what, like it's not anything to hide. I shared part of my response to it right after it happened, but then I got married, and when these comments come up and people want me to talk about it, I just didn't think it was respectful to talk about when I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
And I also didn't want to hurt his image even more either. Because yes, so long story short, I had been going to this church in Nashville since I lived here. So for a long time. And I honestly should have left like a while ago because I was leading a small group and I got pregnant and they told me to step down because I had a baby. I was having a baby out of wedlock. And I ended up I did step down, but I took the small group outside of the church and they stayed with me. They were like, that's BS, honestly, which it was. But I understand that you're held to a different standard leading a small group, whatever. But I ended up going there, staying there for a long time, and a mission trip opportunity came up to go to Kenya. I was super back and forth about it, but I was excited about it, and I just felt like the devil was trying to make me not go just because it was out of my comfort zone. I didn't know anyone going on the trip. And then randomly, I always had this.
Consider some of the most successful brands like Aloe Yoga, Allbirds, and Skims. You likely recognize them for their standout products, innovative branding, and powerful marketing strategies. But what often goes unnoticed is the engine driving their success. The business infrastructure behind the scenes. What truly sets these brands apart isn't just their products, it's the seamless systems, tools, and technology that make selling more efficient. Take Shopify, for example. As the invisible backbone for millions of businesses, it enables entrepreneurs and established brands to streamline operations, process payments, manage inventory, and enhance the customer experience. Without this kind of infrastructure, scaling rapidly and delivering the seamless shopping experience consumers expect today would be nearly impossible. Success isn't just about the product, it's about the systems that make selling effortless. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/bunnie, BUNNIE. All lowercase, go to shopify.com/bunnie to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/bunnie.
Like there's campus pastors and they're not the ones that like mainly speak, but they speak a few times a year. They come and give announcements on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I randomly had one that would like randomly just like reply back to like my sermon post or like a biblical song or like whatever it is. And I never thought anything of it. Like if he still had social media, I wish I could pull up those receipts where I didn't respond when he like liked like the story or whatever it was. But then he had reached out and was like, hey, I'm like actually the one leading this trip. And I was like, oh, okay. Like he seems pretty cool. Like maybe I should go, and I feel like I know him since he is always on stage or doing whatever. So I didn't really know him, and I was still super nervous to go. It wasn't until like that week that we were leaving that I was like, everyone else is getting their vaccines and all this stuff, and I'm like, whatever, it'll work out. Ended up going. And I've always been one to like really read people. If someone's going through something, I feel like a weight on my chest. If like I'm in Walmart, I'll have like a random like weight on my chest, and I'm like, someone in here is going through something, because like I know how to separate it now, where I used to not. I used to be like, okay, something's like going on. Like, why do I have anxiety for no reason? But it's usually just someone else's weight. And I felt that. And we were all in a group chat for the mission trip. But then like when we were in the group at the airport, I had mentioned how like the Wi-Fi sucks on planes, and like we have like a 24-hour flight basically. And I was hoping that the Wi-Fi didn't suck. But then when we got on the plane, he messaged me outside of the group and was like, oh yeah, the Wi-Fi does suck, ha ha. And I was like, that's weird. So it kind of threw me off a little bit, but then I kept feeling that weight. Once we got there, we all like split up into groups and all this stuff, and I was always in his group. And so, I mean, I felt comfortable enough to ask. I was like, hey, I feel like you have a demon. Like, what's going on? And he was like, wait, what? And I was like, I don't know. I just like feel your vibes, and I feel like there's something going on that you're not sharing. And he ended up telling me that he was going through a divorce. And he was like, it's really hard because I can't be going through a divorce while being a pastor. Like, it's part of like our thing. Like, we'll get fired, all this stuff. And I totally understood that. And I was like, well, you're still wearing your ring and all this stuff. And I hadn't gone through a divorce before at this time. Like, I thought it was kind of like cut and dry, like whatever that saying is, whatever. And just thought, okay, they probably like signed papers, because he had said they had papers that they had signed and like figured stuff out, but that not all the details were figured out yet. And he was still wearing his ring, and he basically said that he was still wearing his ring because the son that he took on the mission trip didn't know. In this, like, he had a tradition to where each one of the kids got to go on a mission trip, and this was his son's first time doing that, and he didn't want to ruin the experience. All very believable. Like, I still believe a lot of it to this day. And so nothing happened on the trip. We did not sleep together on the trip. And technically, in my mind, he was getting divorced or divorced. Didn't really know. Like, he would show me messages. Like, when we got home, we hung out. And then things kind of like progressed a little bit to where I was getting feelings for him, just because to me, it seemed like he was responsible and he had kids, and like he kind of knew that life of like, hey, I love the Lord, but like I'm going through a divorce, but I also know like how to be around children. And I didn't really think that was like possible with other people. I don't know. I just didn't think anyone would be interested, one, in a single mom, but also like love Jesus and whatever. So he would show me messages and stuff about like the divorce, and from his wife, I guess at the time, about the divorce, and like how he wasn't staying there, and like he would move out, but then like she had to get a job and all of this crazy stuff. But I was seeing it. So it was true. Like, it was happening. And then he was on sabbatical at the time. And so he was away from the church, I guess like off for, I think it was like a month and a half. And his sabbatical was about to end. And he was like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to talk to the pastor there and meet with him and let him know what's going on, and kind of like put my notice in. And he was supposed to go, he was going back on a Monday, and his meeting was on a Wednesday. He had gone in on that Monday and texted me and was like, I feel like something like weird is going on. And he asked me to meet today. And he was completely thrown off guard, because he thought this was just a meeting and not like, he wasn't quitting on this day. He was just going to see. And I was like, okay, well, whatever happens, like, I mean, it's going to be fine regardless. Like, I'll be praying about it, but I was like, whatever you feel led to do, do it. Like, whatever it is. Like, I don't know all of the demons you're facing, because clearly there was a lot more going on than what I was told. And at that time, I lived at my old house, and I had like a war room in there to where I would put all my prayers on the walls and stuff. And that was like all that room was used for. And I even put on there like, hey, Lord, like if he's meant to be with his wife and they rekindle, like that's amazing. Like, let that happen and let me be fine with it. Like, let it be okay. Like, let whatever decision he needs to do, like, let him do it. He texted me right after that meeting, and it was like this very like generic message that was like unlike anything that he had ever said. It was just like, I'm leaving for 30 to 60 days. I won't have my phone. I'm ending communication here.
What the hell?
And I was like, wait, what? And the crazier thing about it is that I responded and my message went through green. I was already blocked. So like out of like this whole time of like talking and like him talking to me about everything and like wanting a future with me, like all this crazy stuff.
And you guys were having relations during this
Yes.
time. Yes.
Like-
but just not in Kenya.
Yeah, not in Kenya.
Okay.
Like I really did at the time like him a lot. And he was
Yeah.
always talking about a future and like how like he wanted to start his own church that wasn't religion like based, but like relationship based.
Mhm.
And just not like everyone can actually feel welcome to go.
Right.
And so I waited a while because I was in the dark really I didn't know what was going on. I was like, that message is weird, but like, where is it getting sent off to? Like, why are you going to be gone for 30 to 60 days or 60 to 90 days actually? So I waited and waited and waited. Nothing ever came by it. And then one day I remember I was sitting on my couch upstairs and I was praying. I was like, Lord, like I literally like, I'm sorry for asking for so many signs because that shows like weakness and me not fully trusting in you. And I was like, so whatever, like don't give me a sign. Then he FaceTimes me randomly after I think probably a little over a month. And at first I didn't answer because I was like bawling my eyes out. I was like, Lord, what are you doing? And he was like, I only have like 4 minutes to talk. I'm at a rehab. They sent me here. I never sent you that text. Like the lead pastor sent it to you. They have your name blocked from anytime like you text or email me. Like you're not allowed to reach out. They want me here to work on my marriage, like all this stuff. I love you, whatever. Like I won't be able to communicate again, but just like know that I love you. And I was like, okay, so there's that. Me thinking kind of like that was a sign, like it'll still work out because if he's telling me this, like what's actually going on.
You finally answered the FaceTime or did you
Yeah.
leave this in a message? Okay.
Yeah. And we didn't have long to talk. Like I couldn't
Right.
ask like, okay, like, so what's the plan here?
Yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
you going back? Like, should I like peace out? Like
Yeah.
I can respect that. Like be honest with me.
Mm.
So I waited again. This time, like probably like a month and a half. And then my family had come in town for Thanksgiving that I was hosting. And I got this like an email sent from my wife. And you can tell because he had a new email and it was him and his wife's name at gmail.com. And I could tell that it was just like,
Hey guys, if you want to hear the uncensored version of this, head over to our Patreon at dumbblondeunrated.com where we have all the fun, all the unedited stuff, all the explicit stuff. Come on over. Goodbye.